Hello friend and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. We're back here with turn 4 and we'll be looking at the events. Axis Finnish offensive begins, so the German 36th Corps attacks Sala sector to cut the Murmansk railway. The Karelian army launches the first major offensive in northern part of the Karelian Isthmus. Ground combat intensity is set to medium. Northern theater box for the Soviet ground combat is also set to high. Partisans become effective. During the summer and fall of 1941, Russian partisans will blow up nearly 5,000 enemy trains, blast 607 railway bridges, damage or destroy 915 warehouses, and damage over 1,500 enemy tanks and armored carriers. So we'll have to send units there as well. And we'll have mutual assistance. On July the 12th, 1941, the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union concluded the Anglo-Soviet Agreement. This was a formal military alliance between the two powers, pledging to assist each other and not to make separate peace with Germany. The treaty was drawn up, signed in English, and later translated into Russian, whereupon agreement between the two countries was established and authenticity recognized. Right, so we'll, I guess, we now have 426 points. The events, we've gone through that. Last turn, the Soviets had a shortage of forces in the Far East with negative political costs. And there was the evacuations, which we've already gone over. Besides that, I wanted to select these, and the thing is that, yeah, let's just get rid of that. These guys are at flexible, so they should actually be moving up. Let's set them to advance for one turn, and I think that for Luftflotte 2 I will also put them to advance, but not Air Fleet 4. So we'll see where they will end up. Now this Koluft 17 is following the 16th Army. Weird thing is, it's not actually moving all that much. So Koluft 18 is here. There's definitely some improvement that is still needed, because why would they not actually fly all the way to Riga, where there's a better chance of supplies and things like that? I don't know why they would go here. Like, I get that they're following these units, but then they're not actually moving towards, say, Riga. You would think that they would want to go to that airbase, but apparently they don't. The Koluft 3rd Panzergruppe is actually following them quite well, but then, yeah, it's it's interesting. At any rate, if we look at the forces, we see that the Russians now actually have more on-map forces than I do. I've been looking at the manual, and according to the manual, what happens is that Soviet forces, which are removed by things like surrendering, before the 1st of November, they come back within a couple of turns, and then they need substantial reinforcement. At either way, yeah, if we look at the Soviet numbers, well, this is victory points for us, so we got a total of 14 additional victory points during the last turn, and I guess that's for reaching Pskov at the very least, for getting 9 points. And then, I'm actually not sure what else I would get the points for. Let's take a look. So, Lvov we already had. Riga we already had. Yeah, the only ones that we've captured so far are Minsk, Riga, Lvov, and Pskov. That's basically it. But we got 14 bonus points. And -2 for enemy events. Okay, that's good, I guess. Smolensk would have to be captured this turn, but that's certainly not going to happen now, given that there are quite a few Soviet forces in front of it, I would think. Yeah, so if we look at the losses for the Soviet, well, we're now at 64,000 to 820,000. But of course we still have a couple of pockets, like this, and these pockets did hold. Let's Yeah, so let's run the air directives. We're now at 13th of July, so this turn is the 13th to the 20th, I think. That's at least would seem like to me at the moment. Okay, so they are at least doing some recon. I am happy about that, though we do have quite a few operational losses. Once again, that's the biggest downside so far. At least we know that, you know, there's still... Finally, there's actually recon in the places where it's supposed to be. This is really weird. Because that's exactly where we needed it. In the immediate vicinity. So, yeah, that is starting to work out a little bit at least. But I'm racking up several... quite a bit of losses here, too. Alright, well, let's start with pocket duty and those areas which do seem to be the most obvious that we can work with. So, for example, in this case, I need them to at least move in here to also take over this, and then they can't really move. However, let's also move you up. And it's probably easier to cross at the bridge. So let's go in that general direction. I don't necessarily need to take those hexes immediately, so I would much rather go across. There we go. Now, I do think we'll be... I'll start moving some artillery to the Romanians in order to start the siege of Odessa for as much as that will be possible. Soon enough, anyway. You guys are part of this corps. Again, I'm trying to grab as much territory as possible here. You are also part of that. Let's move them into Kishinev. So the Romanians at least are moving into Transnistria. That's good. If I'm gonna go around to that place anyway, I might just as well try to move into this general direction here. And I seriously doubt that I would be able to cut that rail line at this turn. So what do I want to do? You guys are gonna move up in here, so take those hexes. Let's just move them up so we can cut that rail line on the next turn. And get those HQs going as well. Alright, so that's one. I did say I want to take care of the easier stuff first, so. Wow. These guys are performing quite embarrassingly. Although, I would say that even these guys are not in their best element. Anyway. At least these guys got routed. Or surrendered, at least. It'll probably take a while before I've taken all of this stuff. They actually cannot go in there at that stage. Okay. Nope. Let's just get into Stanislav first. The thing is that the population is actually starving. As long as they remain encircled, then they might actually have something like a supply depot or something along those lines. Okay, well, never mind that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but down to 1. Yeah, but I still want to do that so that at least they will surrender after 1 attack. Don't want to be following them for turns and turns to come. Okay. It is highly unlikely I'll be able to deal with these two for now, so I'm not gonna try for this turn at least. Not yet. I'm really only looking at those rolls which might have even the smallest of chances, and that's not a lot. Okay, well let's try with a heart attack for now then. They are using again a lot of planes. Well, I'm destroying a lot of them at least, so that is good. For 1 second, I was actually really afraid that they didn't make it already. I really do find their numbers of... Wow. Okay, let's go. Their numbers of planes are quite interesting there. so now these shouldn't be that big of a problem. In fact, this entire pocket should be taken. Oh, come on, man. Really? Let's do it this way. There we go. This entire pocket definitely needs to be cleared quickly. Alright, I can move them into Proskurov, sure. But then afterwards, I need to continue on anyway. Okay. $210? Jeez. Let's at least get rid of them. Which kind of territory is this? Not sure. However, I do need to take those territories anyway, so I might just as well go like that, which really sucks in terms of movement. I don't want them to retreat at this stage. They need to go. So that did work. That's nice. Let's get you back into Rav now. Alright, so that's pocket duty for this turn. I mean, slowly we're grinding through here, I suppose. There's not a whole lot else I can do with that pocket. We'll deal with it in due time. Then up here, they have another unit. Well. Or not. Strange. So you must have a unit in that center over there. Otherwise, that would secede to me. I guess also I'm at the point where I just really want to have this finished, so I can actually start moving my units up here, because it's been taking a while, so I really just want them to surrender. I don't have time for anything else. I don't think this will work, no. That was a long stretch. Alright, but they'll be gone on the next turn. That's... Not sure, no. Alright. I guess I will have to wait with them, at least for yet another turn. Okay. It's only one more hex that they need to take, and then I have all of the hexes in that sector too. At least. Yeah, let's go here. Get them out, potentially. And now the one thing that I need to do is move in here. Oh, well. Okay. If I move up, these guys are gone too now, finally. And then I can take those hexes later. I'm quite sure there's no unit on there. So... that's some pretty intensive railroad construction right there. Let's continue working on the rail up north. Quite close to where I need to go. There's obviously this area now, which is in the way for me to get to the land bridge towards Smolensk. But I guess we'll deal with it. Alright, let's actually start, I think, this time with Army Group South, because I just like doing something different for a change. Now, I suppose that for these units, what I want to do is, or at least for this one, is move up there. 4 out of 9. These guys have a little bit more. And I'll also use these to take care of the territory. They still need to, I need to catch up with the front line, which is still moving faster than, you know, anything else. Again, this movement might look a little bit weird, but the reason why I'm doing it is so that I can still skim off that territory. And I still need to invest a lot of movement points. But this way, hopefully, it's not so bad. If I move up with these, then technically they can kind of like link up and take these few cities. There's not a whole lot in these cities, but it does also clear out the Pripyat marshes. And I guess we're kind of like halfway through, at least in this area. They do still have quite a bit over here. Okay. But with this cavalry now stuck in this section, there's not a whole lot they can do. Okay. You guys probably should try to get here. Now, this pocket, I actually think you can still quite manage to do something with it. The weird thing is, though, oh, they're part of the... that's weird. You should be part of the Slovakian Corps. At any rate, the thing is that I want to re-pocket all of that. And I just rather also need to take a look at how to do that. So what I'm actually looking at here is potentially creating a new encirclement around Uman. So if I use my panzers to go and swing south in a way, then in maybe a turn or 2 turns I might be able to create an encirclement here. They technically have only one rail line, which is this rail line here, that they can utilize at that point if I cut them off at this section too. So the idea is to basically just get them from both sides there and then encircle them. That means that I'll be diverting from Kiev, away from Kiev and further down south here. That is the suggestion, rather. Although I also have quite a few panzer divisions like these that really just, they need to rest, basically. Bit surprised about them putting up all these machine gun artillery units. I mean, technically it's fine, but I guess it's just a bit weird. I'll have the cavalry Romanian Corps on defense, but meanwhile, these kind of attacks are also pretty reasonable. I mean, even if, like, just routing them does still help somewhat. They lose a lot of men comparatively. And, I mean, not in this particular attack, but it does open me up for a few possibilities. And it weakens the Soviets, so... Oh, That's not exactly what I wanted to do. Let's just keep you there. Security divisions are generally not that tough to beat. They can retreat. I'm fine with that. I can potentially get another smaller encirclement in this area if the game will allow me. But that kind of depends on how things will go here. I'm not that convinced about this attack. So let's up the ante a little bit at least. Yeah, okay. I'm yeah, willing to spread them out like this as a defensive measure. And then what I'll do first on this side is get those Romanians and attack this. Oh yeah, they're on reserve. That's not exactly what I want. So apparently on reserve they're also doing that stuff while it's on my turn. Right, I kind of forgot about that. At least though, this is a good payoff, I think, anyhow. All right. And these guys also have a lot of strength to them. What I need to do, that's just an HQ. If I want to create a corridor, I'm gonna need to attack. And these are good odds for me. So even if I'm routing them, the Soviets are losing a lot of manpower this way, and that's kind of what I want. They're at least now down to 3.1. So it is actually helping a bit. Let's move you up in here because, like I said, I do want this encirclement. There are more forces in here than you would expect, I think. I would not be surprised to at least see like 100,000 troops or so in that particular area. So. That's it for the 8th Army. Or 11th, I should actually say. Let's also move that HQ. Well, let's move the HQ later. For now, though, what I want to do is... also get rid of that. That's not really a problem though. And move in here. So the way this helps is, well, say that, I mean, you guys don't have enough movement, but say that I'm moving these guys through, I can then technically get an encirclement over of these guys, which is still, you know, some units. Same for these tanks, but that would be tricky. Yeah, you can move, but then you cannot attack, so that's not ideal. And most of these infantry, they actually cannot move in further. So that's, I guess, a bit of a difficulty there. As for the 16th Army, I do think they should be on the road to Kiev. Let's start here and see which hexes just automatically transport or transfer to me. Some, but not a lot. So that does give me at least already a small indication of what I can expect in this area. They will have units in those regions, very likely. There we go. That's not the most amazing, but it does at least set up the 6th Army for that particular area. And I do think that these guys, for example, can now also start moving further up north. Now, as for these, I still have this here light division. These guys are actually quite powerful. That is pretty nice. Given that this is one of the few units that can actually move into Zhytomyr without substantial problems, I'm actually inclined to do that. And this way, well, one of the things that I need to do is get some of these guys moving at least a bit further. I would... It's weird that they... Oh, this is a motorized brigade. Oh, wow. Well, then... I guess... If they don't take it, it must mean that they have a unit in that particular hex. There is no need for me to actually use that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get these to bundle up together. And just refit. I don't have any reason to actually activate them, and I do think that they need to reacquire at least some strength, etc. I don't see me forming this pocket on this turn anyway. So I'm still at the very least just looking at this encirclement. And then I'll take it from there. Yeah, so I'll definitely just leave them. Now, these units... The one unit that I don't like in this position is this one. That is actually a problem. Besides that, these two are actually doing relatively fine. Well, let's actually move a Viking in here. I did talk about getting at least a smaller encirclement, and I might be able to create a second one over in this location. Just a few smaller ones here to even the odds. But I would have to take a look. It doesn't have to be exceptionally problematic, this encirclement. Like, this is already 2 rifle divisions, an anti-tank brigade, and a border guard regiment. As for these tanks, how many tanks do they actually still have? That is also pretty interesting. They're fielding still over 8,000 tanks at this moment. That's a pretty big number. If I go in here, I can... I mean, they do have quite a bit of movement left. If I move in here, what else will it do for me? I will have to think about it. Generally, giving it some good thought often helps. This will also help these guys move a bit further because they're in a terrible spot. And I can just move up in here with the 267th Infantry Division moving towards Kalinkovici. That will take a while, and yeah. Okay, you're part of the wrong group, that's for sure. Either way, I do want the 2nd Panzer Group infantry units to start crossing and to start taking up some space. They haven't taken control over any of these hexes, which is interesting to say the least. Because that means at the very least they have a unit in here, but also that they have units further along. Now, at this point, I still need to cover this flank, obviously. So let's at the very least move in here, and they cannot actually move into Domanovici. That's okay. But it does mean I have to move Das Reich. Well, let's see actually. So, as regards to the 5th Corps, for all intents and purposes, I want to have only a few units on this side and most of them trying to get around. So these guys, for example, there's no doubt in my mind. Let's see. Yeah, so let's move you into Orsha. You can move a whole lot further. The goal here is, of course, to encircle and destroy the units that they have in here. Yeah. I don't know how many forces they have, but the infantry needs to move forward. That is one of the key objectives. Okay. Okay. That was weird. I mean, I would rather have them on a railroad, but I actually don't have the railroad moving up in here yet. So let's do this. Oh, okay. Well, that's not gonna work then. Okay. I mean, you should be able to beat a security division, I would think. I mean, okay. Ain't much. I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, so I can't really do a whole lot with these guys now. The only one other area where I think it's actually pretty, well, let's just say easy to move would be here. These guys will catch up. That's not really a thing. I know I'm all over the place, but by this stage I'm generally looking to do the easiest stuff first, and that just, I guess, means and this guy is also trying to beat this tank division, because I'm looking to encircle the forces that are going to be here. They can get further into the pocket. I don't really care about that. Another HQ. What are you part of? This corps. I can certainly move them up. That's not the issue, I think. But I think what I'm more inclined to do is get these guys under that core and move them further up north. Doesn't help that they have units there. So I might just as well move into this swamp hex. Unfortunately, that's not amazing, but it does technically cut that rail line, as much as that's worth. And what I'll do is I'll put you guys under the 5th core, or 50th core. And if I put you under the 26th, 23rd, 26th, you under the 1st, then it also means that for these guys they can start moving a bit further. Am I actually getting that territory? Yes, I am. Okay. I'm not particularly concerned about any potential encirclement here. I mean, I know that we're at least good in the sense that these guys, they can't touch me. I'm quite sure they have a unit here too. But if I get into Petseri, that would at least cut off their rail line communications. Depending on how far I can get here, I could put... Yeah, it would be very hard to create an encirclement of these forces here already this turn, but it would be, I think, very valuable to do so. Same thing kind of applies over here. These guys are unfortunately doing pretty bad in terms of supplies. But, yeah, those, I think, are pretty viable options. And I can leave this middle area empty because, you know, it doesn't matter if they go and push into there. But then what I'm looking at here is potentially breaking through to these forces, creating an encirclement on this side to repocket or pocket whatever they have here. So moving in this section. And then also potentially doing things here. It would mean I would have to backtrack a bit, potentially, but I actually don't mind. I don't need to take these things on time. Mostly because if we take a look at the... I don't care about the historical capture dates, but the victory locations. The only other victory locations that we have, at least in the north, in terms of goals, are Leningrad, which will always give me the maximum bonus, and of course Tallinn. So Tallinn I need to capture by the historical date, obviously, in order to get the additional points. Smolensk is already a lost cause, so I'm not really talking about that. And then we do have Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporozhye down there as potential future goals, but this is August and October. So we still have some ways before it will be that time. The thing is just that as long as they have that many units, the Panzers can't really move freely. Now, there will be a point where the AI will become weak enough for me that they will try to retreat, I think. Although, given the info screens, it's pretty unlikely so far, but it really just depends on how many enemy units I get to encircle. And if I can take down enough enemy units, then I guess you know, they will start trying to retreat behind the Dnieper. With their current setup, I don't think the Dnieper will become a problem if they're going to continue up these kind of offensives as they do. Especially since I still have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's just say 7, 7.5. Probably a good 10 to 12 So the number of active enemy units, it's under 3 million, because I do currently have more than 120,000 units pocketed at the very least. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Yeah, it's a very long way to go still. Either way, I'm gonna wrap things up here, and I'll continue along in the next episode where yeah, I'll be taking more of these decisions, or critical decisions at the very least, about which way to go with my units. Either way, thanks for watching this one. Do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, see you then, and bye-bye.